Sydney Kingsford Unicum, Royal Air Merrick 765, crossing runway 07. Sydney Kingsford Unicum, November 139 Yankee Lima, going around. Sydney Kingsford Unicum, Scandinavian 890 Heavy is taking off runway 25, departing straight out. Sydney Kingsford Unicum, November 140 Quebec Yankee is taking off runway 34 left, remaining in the pattern. Sydney Kingsford Unicum, Mike Alpha 0981 Heavy is 14 nautical miles to the southeast at 3,700 feet, inbound for landing, will make right traffic for runway 34 right. Sydney Kingsford Ground, American 316 Super, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, United 1, ready to taxi. Sydney Kingsford Ground, India Foxtrot Sierra Mike, ready for pushback. India Foxtrot Sierra Mike, pushback approved. Royal Air Merrick 765, taxi to runway 34 left, contact tower when ready. Pushback approved. India Foxtrot Sierra Mike. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Juliet Golf 93, ready to taxi. Taxiing to runway 34 left, Royal Air Merrick 765. Juliet Golf 93, taxi to runway 34 left, contact tower when ready. Taxiing to runway 34 left, Juliet Golf 93. November 261 Hotel Oscar, pushback approved. Expect runway 34 left. Pushback approved. November 261 Hotel Oscar. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Lufthansa 154 Heavy, ready to taxi. Juliet Golf 93, request permission to cross runway 07. Lufthansa 154 Heavy, taxi to runway 34 left, contact tower when ready. Sydney Kingsford Ground, India Foxtrot Sierra Mike, ready to taxi. Juliet Golf 93, cross runway 07. Crossing runway 07, Juliet Golf 93. India Foxtrot Sierra Mike, taxi to runway 34 left, contact tower when ready. Taxiing to runway 34 left, India Foxtrot Sierra Mike. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Qantas 52, ready for pushback. Taxiing to runway 34 left, Lufthansa 154 Heavy. United 1, request permission to cross runway 07. Sydney Kingsford Ground, North Shuttle 522, ready for pushback. Lufthansa 154 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 07. November 169 Bravo India, request frequency change. Qantas 52, pushback approved. Expect runway 34 left. United 1, cross runway 07. Pushback approved. Qantas 52, crossing runway 07. United 1. Lufthansa 154 Heavy, cross runway 07. Crossing runway 07, Lufthansa 154 Heavy. Royal Air Merrick 765, request permission to cross runway 34 left. Pushback approved. North Shuttle 522. Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 120.5, November 169 Bravo India. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Tango Kilo 2342 Heavy, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Air France 007 Super, request taxi to parking. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Singapore 827 Super, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, November 261 Hotel Oscar, ready to taxi. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Singapore 827 Super, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Tango Kilo 2342 Heavy, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Singapore 827 Super, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Singapore 827 Super, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Singapore 827 Super, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, North Shuttle 522, ready to taxi. Air France 007 Super, taxi to parking. November 261 Hotel Oscar, taxi to runway 34 left, contact tower when ready. Air France 007 Super, request permission to cross runway 07. Royal Air Merrick 765, request permission to cross runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Singapore 827 Super, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford ground. Alpha Zulu uniform Lima 9268 super, ready for pushback. Tango Kilo 2342 heavy, pushback approved. Expect runway 34 right. Pushback approved. Tango Kilo 2342 heavy. Sydney Kingsford ground. November 794 Mike Whiskey, ready to taxi to runway 34 left. Crossing runway 07, Air France 007 super. Singapore 827 super, pushback approved. Expect runway 34 right. Pushback approved. Singapore 827 super. Sydney Kingsford ground. November 139 Yankee Lima, request taxi to parking. Pushback approved. Alpha Zulu uniform Lima 9268 super. November 261 Hotel Oscar, request permission to cross runway 25. Sydney Kingsford ground. Japan Air 724, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford ground. November 139 Yankee Lima, request taxi to parking. November 794 Mike Whiskey, frequency is busy, please be patient. Sydney Kingsford ground. Singapore 827 super, ready to taxi. Sydney Kingsford ground. Delta Alpha 2, ready to taxi. Qantas 52, taxi to runway 34 left. Contact tower when ready. Sydney Kingsford ground. November 916 X-ray India, ready for pushback. Taxiing to runway 34 left. Qantas 52. India Foxtrot Sierra Mike, request permission to cross runway 07. Pushback approved. Japan Air 724. Singapore 827 super, taxi to runway 34 right. Contact tower when ready. Sydney Kingsford ground. November 794 Mike Whiskey, ready to taxi. Sydney Kingsford ground. Tango Romeo uniform Mike Papa Mike Alpha November heavy, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford ground. Tango Romeo uniform Mike Papa Mike Alpha November heavy, ready for pushback. Mike Alpha 0981 heavy, request permission to cross runway 34 left. Stand by. November 139 Yankee Lima. Sydney Kingsford Unicum, edited 521 is taking off runway 34 right, departing straight out. Sydney Kingsford Unicum, November 139 Yankee Lima, taxiing to runway 34 right. Sydney Kingsford Unicum, Tango Romeo uniform Mike Papa Mike Alpha November heavy, taxiing to runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Unicum, North Shuttle 522, crossing runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Etihad 521, ready for takeoff at runway 34 right, departing straight out. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qantas 595, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing straight out. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qantas 595, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing straight out. Alitalia 790, request frequency change. Qantas 595, hold short of runway 34 left. Holding short runway 34 left, Qantas 595. Sydney Kingsford Tower, United 664, ready for takeoff at runway 16 right, remaining in the pattern. Alitalia 790, hold short of runway 34 left. Holding short runway 34 left, Alitalia 790. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qantas 8162, inbound on the ILS, runway 34 right. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Delta Alpha 2, ready for takeoff at runway 34 right, remaining in the pattern. United 664, runway 16 right, cleared for takeoff, make left traffic. Alitalia 790, is on final runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Delta Alpha 2, ready for takeoff at runway 07, remaining in the pattern. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qantas 595, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing straight out. Aeroflot 8107 Super make a right 360 for spacing. Alitalia 790, is on final runway 34 left. November 139 Yankee Lima, correction, stand by. Making a right 360, Aeroflot 8107 Super. Qantas 595, runway 34 left, cleared for immediate takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 left, Qantas 595. Sydney Kingsford Tower, velocity 15 heavy, inbound on the ILS, runway 25. Thank you, good day, Qantas 595. Cleared for takeoff, runway 16 right, United 664. November 169 Bravo India, request frequency change. Sydney Kingsford Tower, X-ray Echo 278, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing straight out. Velocity 15 heavy, number 1, runway 25, clear to land. Number 1, clear to land, runway 25, velocity 15 heavy. X-ray Echo 278, hold short of runway 34 left. November 169 Bravo India, request frequency change. Holding short runway 34 left, X-ray Echo 278. November 139 Yankee Lima, request frequency change. Stand by, Lufthansa 154 Heavy. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Whiskey Hotel Yankee Lima Lima Yankee, ready for takeoff at runway 07, departing north. Tango Romeo Uniform Mike Papa Mike Alpha November Heavy, line up and wait runway 34 right. Tango Romeo Uniform Mike Papa Mike Alpha November Heavy, runway 34 right, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 right. Tango Romeo Uniform Mike Papa Mike Alpha November Heavy. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Thai 909 Heavy is 4 nautical miles to the southeast at 1,800 feet, inbound for landing, requesting runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qantas 8162 is 8 nautical miles to the south at 1,500 feet, inbound for landing, requesting runway 34 right. Thai 909 Heavy, enter right downwind runway 34 left. Cleared for takeoff, runway 07, Whiskey Hotel Yankee Lima Lima Yankee. Alpha Zulu Uniform Lima 9268 Super, request frequency change. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Transovic 333 Heavy, ready for takeoff at runway 07, remaining in the pattern. X-ray Echo 278, runway 34 left, cleared for immediate takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 left, X-ray Echo 278. Qantas 8162, is on final runway 34 right. Alpha Zulu Uniform Lima 9268 Super, runway 16 right, cleared for takeoff. Qantas 8162, Roger. Thai 909 Heavy, number 1, runway 34 left, cleared to land. Qantas 999, is on final runway 34 left, full stop. November 794 Mike Whiskey, hold short of runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Tower, November 713 Echo Victor Super, ready for takeoff at runway 16 right, departing south. Holding short runway 34 left, November 794 Mike Whiskey. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Transovic 333 Heavy, ready for takeoff at runway 07, remaining in the pattern. Qantas 999, Roger. Qantas 999, Roger. Velocity 15 Heavy, is on final runway 25. Sydney Kingsford Tower, November 794 Mike Whiskey, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing south. November 794 Mike Whiskey, hold short of runway 34 left. Holding short runway 34 left, November 794 Mike Whiskey. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Lufthansa 340 Super is 15 nautical miles to the southwest at 2,500 feet, inbound for landing, requesting runway 34 right. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qantas 999, inbound on the ILS, runway 34 left. November 713 Echo Victor Super, correction, Stand by. Sydney Kings 4 Tower, November 794 Mike Whiskey, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing straight out. November 794 Mike Whiskey, runway 34 left, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 left, November 794 Mike Whiskey. November 656 Charlie Mike, request frequency change. Sydney Kings 4 Tower, Juliet Golf 93, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing south. Velocity 15 heavy, exit runway when able, contact ground on the taxiway. Sydney Kings 4 Tower, November 713 Echo Victor Super, ready for takeoff at runway 25, departing south. Sydney Kings 4 Tower, Qantas 999, inbound on the ILS, runway 34 left. Sydney Kings 4 Tower, Japan Air 464 is 4 nautical miles to the south at 1,800 feet, inbound for landing, requesting runway 34 left. Juliet Golf 93, runway 34 left, cleared for immediate takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 left, Juliet Golf 93, Wilco. Japan Air 464, number 1, runway 34 left, cleared to land. Number 1, cleared to land, runway 34 left. Japan Air 464. Sydney Kings 4 Tower, United 1, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing south. United 1, hold short of runway 34 left. Sydney Kings 4 Tower, Lufthansa 340 Super is 12 nautical miles to the south at 2,500 feet, inbound for landing, requesting runway 34 right. Holding short runway 34 left, United 1. Sydney Kings 4 Tower, November 713 Echo Victor Super, ready for takeoff at runway 25, departing south. Sydney Kings 4 Tower, Lufthansa 154 Heavy, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, remaining in the pattern. November 713 Echo Victor Super, runway 25, cleared for takeoff. Sydney Kings 4 Tower, Qantas 999 is 7 nautical miles to the south at 1,900 feet, inbound for landing. Cleared for takeoff, runway 25, November 713 Echo Victor Super. Lufthansa 340 Super, number 1, runway 34 right, clear to land. Number 1, clear to land, runway 34 right, Lufthansa 340 Super. Qantas 999, number 1, runway 34 left, clear to land. Number 1, clear to land, runway 34 left, Qantas 999. United 1, runway 34 left, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 left, United 1. Sydney Kings 4 Tower, Lufthansa 154 Heavy, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, remaining in the pattern. November 713 Echo Victor Super, requesting departure to the south. Lufthansa 154 Heavy, runway 34 left, cleared for takeoff, make left traffic. November 713 Echo Victor Super, departure to the south is approved. November 713 Echo Victor Super, departure to the south is approved. Qantas 595, request frequency change. Sydney Kings 4 Tower, X-ray Echo 278 is 12 nautical miles to the northeast of 3,000 feet, inbound for landing, requesting runway 25. Royal Air Merrick 765, line up and wait runway 34 left. Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 left, Lufthansa 154 Heavy. Lufthansa 154 Heavy, runway 34 left. Cleared for immediate takeoff, make left traffic. Line up and wait runway 34 left, Royal Air Merrick 765. Qantas 999, exit runway when able, contact ground on the taxiway. Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 left, Lufthansa 154 Heavy. 2E Jet 308, runway 34 right, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 right, 2E Jet 308. Roger, Qantas 999. Royal Air Maroc 765, cancel takeoff clearance, hold position. Wilco, Royal Air Maroc 765. Royal Air Maroc 765, runway 34 left, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 left, Royal Air Maroc 765. Qantas 595, number 1, runway 34 left, cleared to land. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Cathay 264, ready for takeoff at runway 25, remaining in the pattern. Qantas 595, request frequency change. Sydney Kingsford Tower, November 261 Hotel Oscar, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing straight out. Lufthansa 154 Heavy, contact Sydney approach on 124.4. Royal Air Maroc 765, requesting departure to the east. November 261 Hotel Oscar, runway 34 left, cleared for immediate takeoff. Lufthansa 154 Heavy, request frequency change. Royal Air Maroc 765, requesting departure to the west. Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 left, November 261 Hotel Oscar. Cathay 264, runway 25, cleared for takeoff, make right traffic. Cleared for takeoff, runway 25, Cathay 264. Sydney Kingsford Tower, X-ray Echo 278 is 5 nautical miles to the northeast at 2,300 feet, inbound for landing, requesting runway 25. Qantas 595, number 1, runway 34 right, cleared to land. Royal Air Maroc 765, departure to the west is approved. X-ray Echo 278, number 1, runway 34 left, cleared to land. Stand by, Royal Air Maroc 765. Number 1, cleared to land, runway 34 left, X-ray Echo 278. Thank you, Royal Air Maroc 765. Singapore 827 Super, runway 34 right, cleared for takeoff. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Singapore 827 Super, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing straight out. Thank you, good day, November 261 Hotel Oscar. Singapore 827 Super, runway 34 left, cleared for immediate takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 left, Singapore 827 Super. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Indonesia 77, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing west. Singapore 827 Super, runway 34 left, cleared for takeoff. Sydney Kingsford Tower, November 57 Echo Uniform Heavy, ready for takeoff at runway 25, departing straight out. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Indonesia 77, ready for takeoff at runway 34 right, departing west. November 57 Echo Uniform Heavy, runway 25, cleared for takeoff. Sydney Kingsford Tower, India Foxtrot Sierra Mike, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing straight out. Cleared for takeoff, runway 25, November 57 Echo Uniform Heavy. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Cathay 264 is 5 nautical miles to the south at 2,000 feet, inbound for landing, requesting runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Indonesia 77, ready for takeoff at runway 34 right, departing west. Sydney Kingsford Tower, November 735 Tango Delta, ready for takeoff at runway 25, departing straight out. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Indonesia 77, ready for takeoff at runway 34 right, departing west. India Foxtrot Sierra Mike, when able turn right, contact ground on the taxiway. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Indonesia 77, ready for takeoff at runway 34 right, departing west. Sydney Kingsford Tower, India Foxtrot Sierra Mike, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing straight out. Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 right, Indonesia 77. India Foxtrot Sierra Mike, when able turn right, contact ground on the taxiway. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Cathay 264 is 3 nautical miles to the south at 1,600 feet, inbound for landing, requesting runway 34 left. Cathay 264, number 1, runway 34 left, cleared to land. Number 1, cleared to land, runway 34 left, Cathay 264. Cathay 264, number 1, runway 34 left, cleared to land. Number 1, cleared to land, runway 34 left, Cathay 264. Sydney Kingsford Tower, North Shuttle 522, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing straight out. November 735 Tango Delta, runway 25, cleared for takeoff. Sydney Kingsford Tower, November 41 Uniform Golf, ready for takeoff at runway 25, departing west. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Kilo Lima Mike 321, inbound on the ILS, runway 34 right. November 41 Uniform Golf, line up and wait runway 25. Line up and wait runway 25, November 41 Uniform Golf. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qantas 611 flight of 5, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing straight out. Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 left, Qantas 611 flight of 5. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Kilo Lima Mike 321, inbound on the ILS, runway 34 right. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qantas 27 Super, ready for takeoff at runway 25, remaining in the pattern. Tango Romeo Alpha 2701 Super, runway 34 left, cleared for takeoff. Make left traffic. Cleared for takeoff. Runway 34 left. Tango Romeo Alpha 2701 Super. Qantas 611 flight of 5. Request frequency change. Tango Romeo Alpha 2701 Super, exit runway when able, contact ground on the taxiway. Wilco. Qantas 611 flight of 5, request frequency change. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qantas 27 Super, ready for takeoff at runway 25, remaining in the pattern. North Shuttle 522, request frequency change. Tango Romeo Alpha 2701 Super, runway 16 right, cleared for takeoff. Make right traffic. Cleared for takeoff, runway 16 right, Tango Romeo Alpha 2701 Super. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Kilo Lima Mike 321 is 5 nautical miles to the south at 1,100 feet, inbound for landing. November 735 Tango Delta, request frequency change. November 140 Quebec Yankee, hold position. Holding position, November 140 Quebec Yankee. Sydney Kingsford Tower, the Norwegian pilot, ready for takeoff at runway 25, remaining in the pattern. Sydney Kingsford Unicum. Kilo Lima Mike 321 is 3 nautical miles to the south at 500 feet. Inbound for landing. Will make straight in for runway 34 right. Sydney Kingsford Unicum. The Norwegian pilot is taking off runway 25, remaining in the pattern. Sydney Kingsford Unicum. Qantas 52 is taking off runway 34 left, departing south. Sydney Kingsford Unicum. Alitalia 790 is taking off runway 34 left, remaining in the pattern. Sydney Kingsford Unicum. New Zealand 598, holding short runway 25. Sydney Kingsford Unicum. The Norwegian pilot is taking off runway 25, departing straight off. Sydney Kingsford Unicum. November 656 Charlie Mike is taking off runway 34 left, departing north. Sydney Kingsford Unicum. November 1206 is taking off runway 34 left, remaining in the pattern. Sydney Kingsford Unicum. Kilo Lima Mike 98 Heavy, taxiing to runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Unicum. Mike Alpha Delta is taking off runway 34 left, departing south. Qantas 27 Super, say intentions. India Foxtrot Sierra Mike, frequency change approved. Good day. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qantas 27 Super is 5 nautical miles to the northeast at 2,400 feet, inbound for landing, requesting runway 25. November 462 Lima Bravo, enter straight in runway 34 left. November 462 Lima Bravo, number 1, runway 34 left, cleared to land. Number 1, cleared to land, runway 34 left. November 462 Lima Bravo. Qantas 611 flight of 5, request frequency change. Qantas 611 flight of 5, frequency change approved. Good day. Frequency change approved. Qantas 611 flight of 5, good day. New Zealand 598, frequency change approved. Good day. November 656 Charlie Mike, frequency change approved. Good day. Frequency change approved. November 656 Charlie Mike, good day. Frequency change approved. New Zealand 598, good day. Sydney Kings Ford Tower, November 912 Echo Whiskey, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, remaining in the pattern. November 912 Echo Whiskey, runway 34 left, cleared for takeoff, make left traffic. Japan Air 724, you're in an active airspace. Please contact Sydney Kings Ford Tower on 120.5. November 30 Hotel Oscar, you're in an active airspace. Please contact Sydney Kings Ford Tower on 120.5. Sydney Kings Ford Tower, Japan Air 724 is 16 nautical miles to the south at 12,000 feet. Inbound for landing, requesting runway 34 right. Japan Air 724, enter straight in runway 34 right. Sydney Kings Ford Tower, November 30 Hotel Oscar is 22 nautical miles to the south at 17,300 feet. Inbound for landing, requesting runway 34 right. Japan Air 724, number 1, runway 34 right, cleared to land. Number 1, cleared to land, runway 34 right. Japan Air 724. November 30 Hotel Oscar, enter straight in runway 34 right. November 30 Hotel Oscar, number 2, runway 34 right, cleared to land. Number 2, cleared to land, runway 34 right. November 30 Hotel Oscar. November 261 Hotel Oscar, you're in an active airspace. Please contact Sydney Kings Ford Tower on 120.5. November 462 Lima Bravo, say intentions. Sydney Kings Ford Tower, November 261 Hotel Oscar is 22 nautical miles to the southwest at 3,900 feet. Requesting transition. November 261 Hotel Oscar, say intentions. Qantas 27 Super, is on final runway 25. Qantas 27 Super, you're already cleared to land. Avoid unnecessary reports. Sydney Kings Ford Tower, November 261 Hotel Oscar is 22 nautical miles to the south at 3,700 feet. Inbound for landing. November 462 Lima Bravo, say intentions. November 462 Lima Bravo, requesting change to runway 34 left. Sydney Kings Ford Tower, November 261 Hotel Oscar is 21 nautical miles to the south at 3,600 feet. Inbound for landing, requesting runway 34 right. November 261 Hotel Oscar, enter straight in runway 34 right. Number 3, traffic to follow is on final. November 261 Hotel Oscar, number 3, runway 34 right, cleared to land. Number 3, cleared to land, runway 34 right. November 261 Hotel Oscar. Sydney Kings Ford Tower, November 462 Lima Bravo is 14 nautical miles to the south at 4,500 feet. Requesting transition. I'm sorry, November 261 Hotel Oscar. Going around, Japan Air 724. November 462 Lima Bravo, number 1, runway 34 left, cleared to land. November 261 Hotel Oscar, correction, stand by. Number 1, cleared to land, runway 34 left. November 462 Lima Bravo. Respond to go around. Japan Air 724, enter right downwind runway 34 right. Sydney Kings Ford Tower, November 261 Hotel Oscar is 18 nautical miles to the south at 3,400 feet. Inbound for landing. Requesting runway 34 left. I'm sorry, November 261 Hotel Oscar. Sydney Kingsford Tower, November 261 Hotel Oscar is 17 nautical miles to the south at 3,300 feet. Inbound for landing. Requesting runway 34 left.
1,000. 500. 400. 40, 30, 10,